The brightness and glamour of celebrities often make us forget that they also face the same dangers of everyday life. On some occasions, tragedy strikes these stars abruptly and devastatingly, cutting short brilliant careers and leaving fans and loved ones in shock. Car accidents have caused the deaths of countless personalities throughout history, from film icons and music legends to athletes and members of royalty. These will be the accidents of those celebrities that you will see today. Jayne Mansfield, one of Hollywood's greatest stars in the 1950s and 1960s, died tragically in a car accident on the 29th of June of 1967. She was only 34 years old. The accident occurred on the U.S. Highway 90 near Slidell, Louisiana, as she was traveling from Biloxi, Mississippi to New Orleans, following a performance. Mansfield was in a Buick Electra 225, accompanied by her boyfriend, attorney Sam Brody, and the driver, Ronald Harrison. Her 3 children, including future actress Mariska Hargitay, were also in the car, seated in the back, and survived the accident with minor injuries. The car collided with the rear of a truck that was spraying insecticide. Visibility was low due to the mist caused by the spraying. The force of the impact was so great that the car's roof was torn off, instantly killing Jayne, Brody, and the driver. A widely circulated myth claims that Mansfield was decapitated. This is not true. Official reports indicate that she suffered severe head trauma, which was the cause of her death. The confusion arose due to the condition of the vehicle after the accident. Mansfield's accident led to the introduction of a safety measure in the United States, the installation of protective bars on the rear of trucks, known as Mansfield bars. These bars were designed to prevent smaller cars from sliding underneath trucks in rear-end collisions. The tragic accident that took the life of Princess Diana occurred on the 31st of August of 1997 in Paris, France. Diana, then 36 years old, was accompanied by her partner, Dodi Al-Fayed, the driver, Henri Paul, and the bodyguard, Trevor Rees-Jones, when the car in which they were traveling collided at high speed inside a tunnel. The accident happened in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. They were being chased by paparazzi seeking to photograph the couple, a detail many believe contributed to the tragedy. The driver, Henri Paul, lost control of the car, which struck a tunnel pillar and then hit the wall before coming to a stop. Diana and Dodi were in the back seat, and neither was wearing a seatbelt. Henri Paul and Dodi Al-Fayed died instantly. Diana was rescued alive but suffered severe chest injuries and internal bleeding. She was taken to the hospital, where she died a few hours later. Trevor Rees-Jones, the sole survivor, suffered severe injuries but survived and does not recall the accident. After investigations, it was concluded that Henri Paul was under the influence of alcohol and medication, which impaired his driving ability. Excessive speed, estimated at about 100 kilometers per hour in an area with a limit of 50 kilometers per hour, was a determining factor. The paparazzi pursuit was also cited as a contributing element. Princess Diana's death shocked the world. Known as the People's Princess, Diana was admired for her charisma, philanthropy, and humanitarian work. Her funeral, held on the 6th of September of 1997, was followed by millions of people around the globe. Although official investigations concluded that the accident was caused by a combination of high speed and the driver's impairment, various conspiracy theories emerged, suggesting Diana's death might have been a planned murder. These theories were investigated, but no reliable evidence was found to support them. The tragic accident that claimed the life of the former president of Brazil, Juscelino Kubitschek, occurred on the 22nd of August of 1976 on the Presidente Dutra Highway between the cities of Resende and Volta Redonda in the state of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. The death of JK, who was 73 years old, stirred national emotion and, later on, fueled debates due to the political context of the period. Juscelino Kubitschek was traveling in the backseat of an Opala, driven by his friend and chauffeur, Geraldo Ribeiro. According to the official version, the car they were in was struck by a bus, causing the Opala to lose control, collide with a barrier, flip over, and be hit by a truck. Both JK and Geraldo Ribeiro died instantly at the scene. The official version at the time concluded that the accident was caused by human error. The bus driver had cut off JK's car. This explanation, however, was questioned by many, especially considering Brazil's political climate during the military dictatorship. In 1996, the Human Rights Commission of the Chamber of Deputies reopened the case and, after investigations, classified JK's death as a non-accidental death, but no conclusive evidence of an assassination was presented. The case remains a subject of debate and speculation. The tragic accident that took the life of actor Paul Walker, known for his role in the Fast and Furious franchise, occurred on the 30th of November of 2013 in Santa Clarita, California, in the United States. He was 40 years old and at the peak of his career. Paul Walker was a passenger in a Porsche Carrera GT driven by his friend and financial advisor Roger Rodas. They were taking part in a charity event organized by Walker's foundation Reach Out Worldwide to raise funds for the victims of a typhoon in the Philippines. During the ride, the car lost control, collided with a tree and a lamppost, and caught fire. After investigations, authorities concluded that excessive speed was the main factor. It was estimated that the car was traveling between 130 and 150 kilometers per hour in an area where the speed limit was 70 kilometers per hour. There were no signs of mechanical failure, although the Porsche Carrera GT is known for being difficult to handle at high speeds. Both Walker and Rodas died on impact and were identified through dental records due to the severity of the fire. Paul Walker left behind a daughter, Meadow Rain Walker, who later became involved in philanthropic causes in her father's name and founded the Paul Walker Foundation. Paul Walker's death shocked fans and co-workers worldwide. He was greatly beloved not only for his talent but also for his humility and philanthropic actions. The film Fast and Furious 7, which was in production at the time, was adjusted to pay tribute to him, using computer-generated imagery and Walker's brothers as stand-ins. The producers completed his scenes and concluded his story with the moving song See You Again by Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth. Ayrton Senna, one of the greatest Formula One drivers in history, died tragically on the 1st of May of 1994 during the San Marino Grand Prix at the Imola circuit in Italy. The accident occurred on the 7th lap of the race, at the Tamburello corner, when Senna's Williams FW16 left the track at over 300 kilometers per hour and violently struck a concrete wall. That season was marked by changes in technical regulations, including the banning of electronic aids such as active suspension and traction control, making the cars more unstable. Senna, who had recently joined Williams, struggled with the new car, which did not suit his driving style. The San Marino Grand Prix was particularly tragic. On Friday, driver Rubens Barrichello suffered a serious accident during practice but survived. On Saturday, Austrian driver Roland Ratzenberger died during qualifying after crashing at over 300 kilometers per hour. Despite these events, the race continued. During the race, after the safety car came out in the opening laps, the car's tires lost temperature, reducing grip. On lap 7, Senna's car left the track at Tamburello due to a steering column failure that had been modified to improve his driving position. The impact with the wall caused a suspension break, which pierced Senna's helmet, striking his head. Medical teams arrived quickly, but Senna had already sustained extremely severe injuries. He was airlifted to the Maggiore Hospital in Bologna, where he was pronounced dead shortly after. Senna's death led to a thorough review of Formula One safety standards, resulting in safer cars and adapted circuits to prevent further fatal accidents. Senna is remembered as a hero in Brazil and worldwide for his talent and dedication. His foundation, the Ayrton Senna Institute, continues his legacy by helping vulnerable children and young people. Silvana Armanulic, one of the most famous singers in Yugoslavia, died tragically in a car accident on the 10th of October of 1976 in the city of Kolari in Serbia. Known as one of the greatest voices of the Sevdalinka music style, her death caused enormous grief throughout the region. Silvana was traveling in a Ford Granada with her sister, Mira, and the violinist Rade Jasharovic. During the journey, the car collided head-on with a truck while they were on their way to Belgrade. All the vehicle's occupants died instantly due to the force of the impact. Although the accident was officially attributed to human errors and unfavorable road conditions, rumors and conspiracy theories emerged at the time, partly due to Silvana's fame and the political complexities of Yugoslavia in that era. However, there is no concrete evidence to support these speculations. Silvana Armanulic was an iconic figure in Yugoslav popular music, especially in the Sevdalinka genre, which blends deep emotions with traditional melodies. Mark Bolan, the legendary British musician and leader of the band T-Rex, died tragically in a car accident on the 16th of September of 1977 at 29 years old. He was an iconic figure of the 1970s glam rock movement, known for hits such as Get It On and Children of the Revolution. His early death shocked fans worldwide. Mark Bolan was a passenger in a Mini 1275 GT driven by his girlfriend Gloria Jones, an American singer and songwriter. The accident occurred on Queens Ride Road in Barnes, London, a few kilometers from his home. Gloria lost control of the car, which struck a tree after passing through a dangerous curve. Bolan died instantly due to a severe head impact, while Gloria suffered serious injuries but survived. The curve where the accident took place was known for being treacherous, especially at night. Neither Bolan nor Gloria was wearing seatbelts, which worsened the consequences. There are reports that the car was traveling above the speed limit, though this was never officially confirmed. Bolin was afraid of driving and never learned how, preferring to be a passenger. Tragically, he had written songs referring to accidents in cars, such as Solid Gold Easy Action, which many fans see as a grim coincidence, as the song's narrative closely resembles the manner of his death. The French philosopher, writer, and Nobel Prize winner Albert Camus died tragically in a car accident on the 4th of January of 1960 at 46 years old. Camus, one of the brightest minds of the 20th century, is widely known for works such as The Stranger, The Plague, and The Myth of Sisyphus. His sudden death shocked the literary world. Camus was traveling as a passenger in a Facel Vega FV3, a luxury sports car driven by his friend and editor Michel Gallimard. The accident occurred on a road between Lourmarin and Paris, in the Villeblevin region of France. The car lost control and violently hit a tree. Camus died instantly due to severe head trauma. Michel Gallimard died a few days later from his injuries. Gallimard's wife and daughter, who were also in the car, survived with minor injuries. On the trip, Camus carried a suitcase containing the unfinished manuscript of The First Man, a semi-autobiographical narrative that would be published posthumously in 1994. He had initially planned to return to Paris by train, but accepted Michel Gallimard's invitation to travel by car, which made his death even more tragic. Although the accident was officially attributed to natural causes, such as a possible mechanical failure or loss of vehicle control, some theories suggest that Camus may have been the target of a political assassination. One hypothesis, put forward in 2011 by the Italian writer Giovanni Catelli, suggests that the Soviet KGB might have been involved, due to Camus's public criticism of the Soviet regime. However, this theory lacks solid evidence. Lisa Left Eye Lopez, a member of the iconic R&B group TLC, died tragically in a car accident on the 25th of April of 2002 in La Ceiba, Honduras. She was only 30 years old and at the height of her career as a singer, songwriter, and producer. Her death was a major shock to the music industry and her fans. Lisa was driving a Mitsubishi Montero SUV on a rural road in Honduras, where she spent time on vacation and worked on humanitarian and musical projects. According to reports, she lost control of the vehicle, which ran off the road, flipped several times, and struck a tree. Lopes, who was not wearing a seatbelt, was thrown from the car and died instantly due to severe head trauma. 7 other people, including members of her family and crew, were in the vehicle and survived with minor injuries. Lisa was filming a documentary about her life and spiritual journey in Honduras called The Last Days of Left Eye. The accident was recorded by the cameras in the car, including the final moments before the collision. Lisa Lopes was one of the most influential artists of her era, known for her charisma, creativity, and bold style. Shortly before the accident, Lisa mentioned in her spiritual diary that she felt something tragic might happen. In a disturbing event, a few days before her death, she had been involved in an accident with a Honduran boy who died. This deeply shook her, and she said she felt that death was trying to find her. The tragic accident that took the life of Grace Kelly, the iconic Hollywood actress and Princess of Monaco, occurred on the 14th of September of 1982. She was 52 years old and was loved worldwide for her beauty, elegance, and charisma, both as a film star and as a member of royalty. Grace Kelly was driving her Rover P6 on a mountainous road connecting her home in Roc Agel to the Principality of Monaco. She was accompanied by her youngest daughter, Princess Stephanie, who was 17 years old at the time. During the journey, Grace suffered a stroke, lost control of the car, and the vehicle ran off the road, falling down a cliff of about 40 meters. Grace was taken to the hospital in critical condition but did not survive her injuries and died the following day. Stephanie survived but sustained minor injuries. The stroke was cited as the main cause of the loss of control, although some speculation suggests that Stephanie might have been at the wheel. However, these claims were officially denied. The road where the accident occurred was narrow and filled with dangerous curves, which contributed to the accident's severity. Grace Kelly's death caused worldwide grief. She had retired from acting after marrying Prince Rainier III in 1956, but she remained a beloved and admired figure. Her funeral, held in Monaco, was attended by world leaders, Hollywood stars, and members of royalty. She was buried in the Cathedral of St. Nicholas in Monaco. The tragic accident that took the life of Tim Horton, a Canadian hockey player and co-founder of the famous Tim Hortons coffee chain, occurred on the 21st of February of 1974 on the Queen Elizabeth Way Highway in Ontario in Canada. He was 44 years old and was one of the most respected players in the National Hockey League at the time. Horton was driving his sports car, a De Tomaso Pantera, returning from a Buffalo Sabres game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The car was traveling at about 160 kilometers per hour at the time of the crash, well above the permitted limit. After investigations, it was confirmed that Horton had alcohol in his blood, which may have impaired his judgment and reflexes. Tim Horton was one of the greatest defensemen in the NHL, playing mainly for the Toronto Maple Leafs, where he won 4 Stanley Cups. Tim Horton's death was a shock to the hockey world and to Canada. He was admired for his strength, skill, and character both on and off the ice. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.